And we should be live. Let me go ahead and check.
Yes, we are.
Says we're live, but are we? Well, we got an ad. That's a good sign.
Neat.
And that would be a yes. Awesome. All right. Hello, everyone. Ace here. Welcome to today's live stream. I'm joined today with returning guest Nico 40K.
Always a pleasure, Ace.
Pleasure to have you on. And today we are back with some more Star Wars, the High Republic Adventures, Dispatches from the Occlusion Zone. So a spin-off series written by Cavan Scott. At least the front cover doesn't look terrible.
Mm-hmm. Though the anime character is still weird, out of place.
Yeah. Alright, so let me read some of the comments before we get started. Nico46K says, that's it, I'm getting the beer. Brian Wellborn says, bro, Star Wars The Old Republic Forum Legends is better. Indeed it is.
Mm-hmm.
Oro says, you know something is foul when not even the Skaven could stomach it. And this comic, oh man, 200% rat poison. It's alive, wait, fuck, Igor, kill it.
It's alive. Kill it with fire.
Alright, so let's go ahead and get into the pain train.
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars High Republic Adventures, Encounter on Dalna. Written by Cavan Scott. Actually, let's see how many people had to read the plot of this comic before it became publicly available. I do notice that there is only one artist, and technically a cover artist on here. So, we'll see how the artwork is. But, yeah, let's see. So, we've got, for writer, or people had to read the plot of this comic, you had Cavan Scott, the writer, Vincenzo Tyler Smith, and Jimmy Betancourt. So, that's 3 people there. Then we have an editor, an assistant editor, so 4 and 5. Senior editor 6, and associate editor 7. And 3 people from the LucasArts story group. So 8, 9, and 10 people again had to read the plot of this comic before it became publicly available. Laughing Cavalier says even the spin-off has 500 million editors, writers, etc. Oro says, we always say, let's say how many people had to read it, but I'm pretty sure we all know this went out to print without giving it a once-over. No one is that suicidal. It's kind of, honestly, maybe Doge should be sent over to check and see what's been going on with Disney.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there was some laundering going on. You know? Just checking, just saying.
Yeah. So once again, the timeline here, it shows because... So yeah, it's showing the High Republic era as including the Young Jedi Adventures and the Acolyte. Because tying your IP to the Acolyte is a brilliant idea, I'm sure.
Of course.
Laughing Cavalier says, do you know how orcs came into being? They were Disney writers once. Saruman, Lord of the Rings. That's an insult to orcs, and you know it.
Yes, don't you know, if people see orcs, they'll think of black people.
Oh, no.
According to absolute idiots.
According to the people that write for Disney comics. Anyways, let's continue. Star Wars The High Republic, Trials of the Jedi. X-droids are finally returning to the Republic from behind the Stormwall. They are laden with valuable intel that is helping the Jedi and their allies prepare for the imminent war with the Nihil. But some X-droids and the messages they carry have disappeared within the inclusion zone. Former Jedi turned monster hunter Ty York and her companion Druin Quibligilen.
What a name!
That is not a name. That is not a name. That is what happens when your face hits the keyboard.
I mean, maybe, who knows? Maybe the origins are French-Canadian.
Maybe the origins are California. Queeb Gilan.
Well, the way, if you say it a certain way, it sounds kind of French.
I'm now starting to get reminded a little bit of Kung Pao Enter the Fist. They're French. Yes, the evil alien council are all secretly French.
That move's a masterpiece, man.
Yes, it is. It's a shame we didn't get the sequel that was promised.
Honestly, better to just have the one than to have a sequel that ruins it all.
Their hunt has led them to Dalna, a once lush planet that was devastated by a Nihil superweapon. Ty and Druin expect to find little more than rocks, ash, and a crashed droid, but Dalna may still have secrets lurking under its surface. Uro says, my man Cav was too cruel even for orcs. Laffy Cavalier says the only trials of the Jedi should be criminal ones for whoever wrote this. Correct. Siege says hail, hail Siege. And indeed, Uro says hail Siege as well. Excuse me. Well, at least the artwork on the first page looks interesting.
Oh, yeah. At least with this kind of artsy motif, there is, because I can sort of see the potential the artist has. I do severely hope that after this, you're not going to be hurting for job opportunities, because, you know, I can sort of see, like, if this was anything but Star Wars, like, this could actually be something really, really beautiful. And in fairness, it is actually kind of beautiful. In a very trippy kind of way.
Yes. Alpha Cavalier says that's a lot of color. Indeed, it is. Dalma. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, it kind of felt like the warp had a little bit of a touch around it.
Yeah.
That's why it's so colorful.
Maybe it's part of Kevin Scott's influence. Make it look like the warp from Warhammer 40k.
Aren't we part of Star Wars? Who cares?
Dalma, the Nihil Occlusion Zone. Remember when we hunted monsters?
Must I remind you again that you undertook this mission as a personal favor to Jedi Master Elsar Man? The information that the Defense Fleet's ex-droids are bringing back to the Republic would be vital in bringing down the storm wall. I mean, not like it really even matters, because now you can just get through the storm wall without even worrying about it. I mean, if you can do that for a wedding, what's stopping you now?
Good question. We're never going to get the answer to it, but it is a good question. There's more holes in the storm wall than a cheese grater at this point.
Yeah, at this point, like, even making it 10 feet higher is not gonna be enough. Shall I voice the blue guy, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
It's one of the only ships in the fleet with a path drive. The Rancor Riders is idly placed to recover malfunctioning courier droids that have gone missing. Yes, Claire, we know.
Makes me wish we'd never stolen the drive from the Children of the Storm in the first place. But a job's a job, even one that doesn't pay. What?
Huh?
What?
What? Try. I'm gonna need
No, at that point, it's a chore.
Yeah. That's it. I'm getting the beer.
A job's a job, even one that doesn't pay.
All right.
Kevin Scott strikes again. While he gets a beer, I'm going to read some of the comments and take my mind off of this briefly. Aura says, remember when this was Star Wars? I do. Such a long time ago it was. Laughing Cavalier says, lol, that voice reminds me of Torgo from Manos, the Hands of Fate. It does. It does. Siegework says, doesn't pay, but why? Because it's a favor, but, you know, the guy is working for the Republic. He could probably give you some monetary reward. I'm just saying. Laughing Cavalier says, so what is this? The second page and already the plot has collapsed? Correct. Or says, a job that doesn't pay is slavery. I thought we were against that one.
Oh, no, we mentioned it.
Siegework says, no, that's a favor for a friend. These people don't have friends, do they? Lol. Okay, but, yeah.
At that point, that is slavery. No. Just kidding.
I'm just going to say this. If you're going halfway across the galaxy through enemy territory to recover a droid for a government just because a friend of yours wants you to do it out of your own goodwill, exclusively out of your own goodwill, that's starting to feel like a bit of a scam there. Like he's taking advantage of you. Siege says even friends pay for their jobs. WT. Yeah, I know. Now,
yeah.
I can see cases where someone might do something where someone might do something smaller without getting paid. Absolutely, I could see that.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't that, though, especially when this is part of a mission to help a government. At that point, you're basically wondering why the hell is this person not receiving monetary reward from said government?
And you're going on a freaking hell planet. Like, what if it's all just a complete waste of time?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And this should be the last stop before. And this should be the last stop before we return the fleet to the fleet, KLO. Are we sure that the distress call you picked up is from a crashed EX droid?
The signature was unmistakable. 3 kilometers straight ahead.
Good to see that probe droid technology has not improved in however long it's been since the High Republic and the Galactic Civil War. Especially considering that these are supposed to be ancient pieces of technology even then. So,
more things change, the more they stay the same. Am I right?
And to think down there used to be so beautiful, open plains and sparkling waterfalls. I mean, it still kind of looks visually stunning in a different way.
Yeah, I feel like maybe the approach should have been get someone who can do like a hellscape, because this looks... Because I can sort of see this being like in an Art Devo thing. Like, this is still very beautiful and colorful. Like, it doesn't really look like it's ruined. So,
I mean, it kind of does, but the color palette is just way too bright and colorful to really get that across all that well.
Mm-hmm. All right.
What happened to it?
What do you think, Druin? The Nihil happened.
Or the Jedi, you never know.
They set off an experimental weapon beneath the surface, triggering every volcano at once. The Jedi managed to evacuate most of the inhabitants, but the planet was laid to waste. It's heartbreaking.
Lousing on the signal.
And that's not all. Look, Ty, is that?
Yes, Druin, it is. An Nihil storm cruiser. Just when I thought today couldn't get any worse.
About a mess. What do you think happened?
Maybe it got caught in the volcanic eruptions.
Yeah. Or literally anything. Why even assume? Like...
Or it says their definition of beauty requires 99% LGBT word salad presence. This world is dead, thus better off than the rest of the High Republic, which means it is horrible for these people. I'm resisting the urge to make jokes.
For now.
I am trying very hard to avoid making jokes that will get the channel demonetized, because I know exactly what ones I would be using right now. You know what? Screw it. This planet is representing about 42% of the trans community right now.
Oh. Who knows? Maybe this Star Cruiser was a failed hijacking.
Oh.
Oh. Oh, man.
Laughing Cavalier says, "What do you think happened?" Dora the Explorer will pop up and answer soon. Aura says, "Oh yeah, I knew you wouldn't disappoint, Ace."
Yeah.
Alright, let's continue. My guess, the X-Droid ran headfirst into the cruiser.
And Brett again?
Most Nihil ships are death traps. All it takes is a high-speed collision and an inexperienced pilot. Holy shit, but this is supposed to be a cruiser. There are death traps, and then there is making the orcs from 40K and their starship designs look extremely practical and working right out of the box, regardless whoever drives it.
Oh, orc engineering. Nihil ships. Alright.
But where are the crew? The ship's empty. No bodies. No anything.
If they're not tacking, then it's not our problem. Let's help Rover extract the droid before... KLO, scan for life forms beneath us.
Beneath?
Listening to the Force more and more these days, aren't you, Ty? Master Man is rubbing off on you. Wink,
Ew.
wink. That's so poorly worded, Kevin.
Elzar Man.
Oh.
Elzar Man's becoming the Shinji Ikari of Jedi.
Yeah.
He wishes. Alright, let's see what some of the comments have to say. Laughing Cavalier says, most Nihil ships are death traps. Why did the Nihil build their ships like death traps then? I don't know. Oro says, the orcs are looking to sue. This is clearly a violation on their copyright, and the Nihil didn't even do it right. Oro says, lawyers. Please, robot, do not feed the furries. We already have the Scoom. We already have the Coom spider for that.
Oh, man.
Mr. Vibe Chick says, just avoid waking up in the hospital to him. Oh, no.
No.
Well, someone definitely got that joke earlier. Yeah, let's go ahead and continue. I believe the droid is the next line. Has the next line.
Is it? I think it is. I thought it was still part of the bubble. Or, okay. Your intuition is correct. Whatever the cause. Scanners indicate several life signs beneath the surface.
And that's not all. There's pain, fear.
Crawling in my skin. These were... Oh, and of course she starts crying. But she said, not our problem. Unless
you're right, and I have been spending far too much time with Elzar Crickin Man. Come on, Druin.
You can't be with a man for longer than ever.
We better take a look.
These tunnels go on forever.
And aren't the most stable. Then I hear really did a number on this place.
But maybe Dalna isn't as dead as we thought. Plants on the surface were one thing. But down here in the dark, what grows without light? A lot of things. Wink, wink.
Yes. I'm also reminded of a different sci-fi setting. Tiberium. The Tiberium setting from Command & Conquer. Pretty sure those things could grow without light.
You know what? I have not played those games that thoroughly enough. The only thing I'm aware of is freaking Tim Curry being iconic.
Well, you should really give them a go. Tiberium Sun is actually really, really... Well, Red Alert 2 is really fun. The original Red Alert is very, very... The original Red Alert and Tiberium Sun are actually fairly dark for what came after. So, I do have to clarify that Red Alert 2 is where the series basically changed and became a little bit more lighthearted. But with regards to Tiberium Dawn, Red Alert 1, and Tiberium Sun, it could be dark as hell a lot of times, some of the stuff. Like, the very first thing in the Soviet campaign of the original Red Alert, the very first thing you see is Stalin and his cronies basically looking at the results of their war crime tests. Here's how where they're saying, here's how long our gas took to kill adults, and here's how long it took to kill kids.
Oh. I mean, it is fitting. It's fucking Stalin.
Correct. It's also a pretty interesting series, too, what with the... Well, Red Alert's... Okay, so... Are you ready for the plot line to the original Red Alert? Or what starts it?
Not quite.
All right,
by all means.
Here it is. So, the basic plot of Red Alert 1 is... Albert Einstein builds a time machine in 1946 and uses it to go back in time and erase Hitler from history.
Right.
So he kills Hitler in the 1920s. And this causes Stalin to take over as the new Hitler, basically. Well, as even more of a Hitler figure than he was historically, which is impressive when you consider,
Yeah.
But also, it turns out that technology has advanced a little bit more, so that even though World War II kicks off in the 1950s in Red Alert between the Soviets on one side and the Allies, which include countries like Britain, France, Germany, and Greece. Even though it's set in the 50s, they still have technology that would have been fitting in the 90s. Things like Apache attack helicopters. Soviets have MiGs, and they also the one thing that they don't have at least at first is nuclear weapons. But then Stalin makes nukes first, and all that. Albert Einstein counters by making the chronosphere, which is a teleportation device, basically, and But it's a pretty dark series, though. At least the original Red Alert is pretty dark. And so is Tiberian Sun, because the Tiberian material is extremely hazardous. As in, if you get near it, it'll hurt you. Being exposed to the air around it hurts you. It can mutate you into a blob, basically, that kills other stuff, called a visceroid.
Ooh.
Dogs get mutated into Tiberian fiends, which, well, that actually gets established later in Tiberian Sun. But then you get, speaking of which, you get to Tiberian Sun, which is set in 2030. Also has a lot of big-name actors like James Earl Jones in it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, then I gotta check it out.
So it has all that, and you also, it's a post-apocalyptic setting, but one where here's the thing about Tiberian, is that it also happens to leach nutrients from the soil, nutrients and minerals, so all the valuable metals that you could want, all the resources you can want, you can get by simply harvesting Tiberian, which grows on the surface.
Right.
So everyone is still, even though it's a post-apocalyptic setting, everyone, all the factions are still every bit as strong and powerful as they were before, and you've got technology from the 2030s now essentially being funded and built with the help of Tiberian. So a lot of really fancy walkers and stuff like that. It's a really interesting setting. And also the color palette is really, really interesting in Tiberian Sun. It's very much a one-of-a-kind looking game. Well, the closest you could get to it would be Brigador in terms of art style, but yeah, it's definitely a game that you have to play at some point, I think.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's get to some of the comments here. Ura says, there is no gender mixing in this comic. That doesn't happen. This is unacceptable. Mr. Vibecheck says, then raise the brightness. Laughing Cavalier says, was it Red Alert 2 that had a mission where you attacked the World Trade Center? Yes. Yes, it is.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's a spicy meatball, but then it gets even better when you realize some of the other spicy stuff. So, first off, they had to actually change the box art to the original Red Alert. Keep in mind, Red Alert came out in 2000. They had to change the box art post 9/11 because one of the images showed a transport plane flying very curiously in the direction of a certain landmark that no longer exists.
Mm-hmm.
But then the expansion pack came out, Yuri's Revenge. It came out in October of 2001. So, after 9/11, turns out there's a skirmish map on there where the World Trade Center makes a reappearance. With battle damage. At the start.
God, it's almost... kind of would be surprised what series didn't have the World Trade Center being in fire. Like, I know there was a bit of a story going around that people somehow, knew that they were gonna attack the World Trade Center, but they took it as a joke or something like that, and until it actually happened.
Oh yeah, I heard something about that where apparently some of the perpetrators were at a bar, the religious fanatics that they are, and were boasting about it.
Weren't they? Oh yeah, weren't the guys that actually committed the airplane attacks? Weren't they? They were trained in America, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, from what I've been told, yes.
And the fact that the CIA was apparently aware of them all this time, but
yes,
Okay, conspiracy theory time. All right.
Aura says, Time Warp Fuckery. Creek says, morning lads, would love to suffer with y'all, but I have like 3 years of crap comics to catch up on. See you in however long that takes. Remember the EU. Yes, indeed, the EU.
Yes.
Mr. Vibecheck says, man, if only Tiberium could help Kane grow his hair back. Laughing Cavalier says, I'm going to space. I'm going to the one place not corrupted by capitalism. Space!
Iconic. Oh.
People need to see some of the other games that Tim Curry was in.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I've had, for example, an older example, he was Dr. Frankenstein in a Frankenstein game from the mid-90s, an FMV game.
Yeah. What was it called?
Frankenstein Through the Eyes of the Monster.
Right. I don't think I've seen that, though, but I have heard the name somewhere.
I've got a couple of videos of it. It's very...
1995, wow.
Yeah, it's not got the best reputation, but it is kind of in a... I would kind of put it in similar camp to, say, Mystery of the Druids.
Mm-hmm.
Or Limbo of the Lost as being so ridiculous at times that it ends up being hilarious. And having Tim Curry as Dr. Frankenstein does add to that at least a little bit.
Holy shit, he was in Dragon Age Origins? Friggin' brutal legend? Damn.
I know he was also in Sacrifice, I think it was, as well.
Yeah, from the 2000s. Real-time strategy. Yeah.
Mr. Vibecheck says, Israel played Red Alert and played it in real life. Oh, no. Or says, the man is legendary as a villain, and then he could never be a good guy because even his nicest and most sincere smile makes you think he's plotting something. Well, he ends up, I will say this, in Sacrifice, he ends up representing the god that is supposed to be the most morally neutral of the whole 5 gods you could pick.
Mm-hmm.
As in, he decided to go completely chaotic neutral. Aura says, yeah, Tim was in Sacrifice and he was a mid. Yes.
Holy shit, it was also in Batman the Animated Series. Damn. Okay. All right.
Laughing Cavalier says Tim Curry was in a Titanic miniseries from 1996 where he plays as an Irish steward. George C. Scott is Captain Smith and Catherine Zeta-Jones was in it. It is really bad. Aww. Laughing Cavalier says Spielberg saw her in it, and Castro and Zorro saying, "You were the only good thing worth saving." Ooh. Now that was brutal.
Yeah.
I don't think Tim Curry's a bad actor either. It's just but a good actor can absolutely be trashed by bad writing and bad direction.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Spielberg wasn't perfect himself. He made good movies, but he wasn't infallible.
I mean, to use another example of a great actor that was destroyed by bad direction and bad writing, Mark Wahlberg in The Happening.
Oh, what? No.
In fact, yeah.
Yes.
Why are you trying to tell me? Why are you trying to tell me a whole bunch of different pieces of useless information?
You know, hot dogs really get a bad rap.
We can't just stand here as the uninformed observer.
We're not assholes. Oh, and it was the trees that were the villains.
Plastic. I'm talking to a plastic plant.
Yeah.
I'm still talking to a plastic plant.
Oh, you know, that... I know, obviously it's a bad movie, but man, it's one of those... It's kind of like The Room, in that you... Like, if you gather your great group of friends together, and you go in with the right mindset, it is a blast.
Oh, man, there's so many movies that are in that category I can list off. Because I've got a good number of them. The Room is definitely in there. Birdemic. Holy shit, Birdemic. The happening is definitely there. Lady in the Water, I would argue, is there too, because of all the stupid stuff that happens in that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, another Shyamalan film. And then, but going to some older classics, you got, of course, got Troll 2. There's that one Babe Ruth film where he cures cancer by playing baseball. That's actually in the film. Oh, wait, he actually does it multiple times. So, first thing, in this film, you actually see a bit where there's a kid that's crippled and can never walk, and is able to stand because Babe Ruth hits a home run. Then you have a terminally ill kid with cancer listening to Babe Ruth play on the radio, and he hits a home run, and the kid is now cured of his cancer.
Oh, the man was
So fucking JD.
Oh, and yes, we are talking about fun trivia instead of reading this freaking comic.
Yep. Some of the other... I'm trying to think of some of the other classic So Bad They're Good films. Well, of course, there's Plan 9 from Outer Space, which...
I need to see that film.
Oh,
I've heard it's infamous. I need to see it.
I happen to have a copy of it. That's been colorized, no less. So there's a reason why the film is so infamous that it got Ed Wood his own documentary film of sorts, basically.
I know that much.
So yeah, that's a good... It was also the last film to have Bela Lugosi in it. You know, the guy that played Dracula from way back in the day. So, another good one, of course, was They Saved Hitler's Brain, which came out in the 60s and is, well, every bit what you might expect from a title like that.
Yeah.
The Creeping Terrors definitely got to be on that list. As is Robot Monster, because who the fuck puts a guy in a gorilla suit and claims that he's actually a robot monster? Oh, and of course the one that I've had some of my viewers watch with me was, what was it, Dark Universe? Yes.
Have you actually... Okay, have you seen the movie Rubber?
I have not seen the movie Rubber.
Okay, well, there is that, but there's also another one, and I don't know if I told you this one already, but this is something I just found by pure happenstance. It is a movie, unironically, and I'm not kidding you about this, called Killer Sofa. I'm not kidding you, and the premise, they take the premise 100% seriously. Killer Sofa. It's it's so brain deadly retarded. I love it.
I got one for you. Night of the Lepus, which actually had some big actors when it came out. It came out in the early 70s. Had DeForest Kelley in there.
Ooh.
Dr. McCoy. And you want to know what it is? It is a horror film about giant killer bunny rabbits. They did the old school Godzilla thing of having, in this case, life-size rabbits just roaming around on miniaturized sets in slow motion, as well as having.
Well, I know what I'm going to be playing on Easter for now.
And you also have a dude in a bunny outfit for the few times he has to interact with people. So.
Oh yeah. Oh my god. Oh no. It's in the comment section. I'm not gonna say. You have to read it.
All right. Let me read some of these here. Pennywise was the performance of a lifetime. Laughing Cavalier says, I love how bad this comic is relative to intimate discussions I've taken over. This comic may be shit, but it's bringing out tons of fun trivia. Riff Tracks of Giant Spider Invasion is funny. I can't believe you committed suicide, Neil Breen. Paul Schlock says, bunnies running around dollhouses. Uro says, we have Vagina Dentata, Chuds, Killer Tomatoes. I'm surprised we don't have a movie named Night of the Killing Mentally Deficient Explicit. I mean, pretty sure we do. It's called Halloween.
This is Halloween.
Left Cavalier says Santa Claus and the Ice Cream Bunny. My mate. Oh yeah, that's another one I remember. Santa Claus conquers the Martians.
What?
Yes, that is an actual film that exists. And I do have a copy of it.
Nice.
Of course, when all else fails, there's also Reefer Madness from the 30s. Talking about the... Okay, so Reefer's Madness was supposed to be was basically a propaganda film about the war on drugs. Specifically marijuana. In the 30s, they... Not only do they completely get the... symptoms of usage very, very off. Apparently, according to the film, it makes you apparently, pot makes you extremely hyper and psychotic.
Lol, no.
Exactly. Yeah, I know.
It's like, okay.
But yeah, there's plenty of other stuff in that film as well. The acting, I mean, the acting is bad by B-movie early 30s standards. It is legendarily bad. So yeah. Let's see. Let's continue, shall we?
Yeah. Yes.
Forget the ferns, Druin. That's blaster fire. Zack, zack. And more.
Wow. Holy crap, it looks like D&D. But in space. Sorry, that's the beer talking.
Is that?
Dark side energy. Wait, so dark side energy is now literally just chaos energy from 40k. Are you shitting me?
And pink too. And there's also no side effects that is traditional of the dark side.
Oh wait, I think I forgot something. So, on the subject of bad films that are so bad they're good to watch, I forgot the foreign knockoff genre. Especially from Turkey. You know, Turkish Star Wars.
Yep.
Turkish Spider-Man. Turkish Rambo. Or it says, didn't know that one. Isn't that the movie that tells you zombies come from marijuana? I don't think it is, but or it says we have D&D in space at home. Also, The Legend of Chaos and Discount Star Wars is growing stronger and stronger.
You know what that reminds me of? Remember the Satanic Panic with the D&D thing? That Tom Hanks movie? That one feels like to me just like one of those unironic comedies, because it's just like, really, D&D. It's like, it's going to turn you into Satanism. Woo!
And then it turns out the same crowd that were complaining about the Satanic Panic. Which, by the way, here's some of the fun facts for you. So, some of the crowd that were starting and really pushing the Satanic Panic during that time period included CBS, which was a spinoff of MSNBC. No, actually it was NBC. So it was NBC that was really pushing it, and Oprah Winfrey was really pushing the Satanic Panic. And it also, and I'm going to point this out as well, it was started by, I guess, the Catholic Church as well, was basically involved in the Satanic Panic from the get-go, as in pushing the whole conspiracy theory and all that. In the 70s, in the late 70s, you know, back when the Catholic Church was a Democrat voting bloc. I actually had this little discussion a few months back about the whole issue. Which, I'm not going to say that the Republicans were innocent with regard to the whole satanic panic scare, because they weren't.
Mm-hmm.
But claiming that they were the exclusive and sole progenitors of it, not really true.
Kind of bullshit.
Very bullshit, when the group that started it was a Democrat voting bloc. And when the media figures that were pushing it, and, oh, by the way, I even found that some of the politicians that were actually trying to push, or the politicians that were leading the charge to try to make laws to deal with the so-called satanic panic, guess which party they were from?
Democrats!
Yeah, so funny how that works.
Body of censorship.
Anyways, let's continue. Paul Schluck says Turkish Rambo, Star Wars. Oh yeah, there was a Turkish Super. In fact, there was also a Turkish Wizard of Oz, I think. Oh man, the Turkish film industry made knockoffs on pretty much everything. Ura says.
Yeah. What did Ura say?
Oh, sorry. Ura says, I miss when Satan was the worst thing people made a fuss about. We need more stuff with demons. Maybe we can get the old fears back and throw the new ones in the trash. Yes. At least Satan made for a far more interesting evil than, oh no, I was called a he instead of a she.
I mean, it's also just, like, we've been missing so much of the, the classical black and white morality tales where we need,
we're getting them still, in a way.
Yeah.
It's just the way we're getting them is through idiots like Kevin Scott, who are trying to make the Jedi the unironic pure good, at least at the start of High Republic, and the Nihil pure evil, when he managed to fuck up so thoroughly that the Nihil actually end up looking significantly better. Because his morals are completely screwed up.
Yeah, all of them have completely screwed up morals. It's just, the thing is, I really wish we could go back into, what we had, you know how with Doom, it's like all the demons are evil, and you are the guy just trying to beat the living shit out of them.
Mm-hmm.
It would be really nice to just get something where humans can just get together and beat the one evil entity that is unironically evil. Would be neat.
Would be a change of pace at this point.
Yep.
Yeah, if you could actually make the good be good and the evil be evil, and,
Yeah, but now they have to see trying to see the good and the bad guys and the bad and the good guys.
Let's continue the stupidity.
Yeah. Master Tay, behind you.
Oh wait, this is my character.
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
Thought you could sneak up behind me, huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a freaking cat.
Q4 Tay. Oh wait. I know that voice, and I don't like it. Me neither.
Oh, the green bitch is back! Lorna D. And she still has that ugly-ass nose ring on the bitch.
Well, I know which voice I gave her before, so... Lorna D!
If you wanna...
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Lorna D.
No, if you want to... I'll stop. Damn it, it's the alcohol.
Lorna D! Elzar man told me you had changed your ways. I didn't believe him then, and I don't now. Working with Darksiders, Alliance never changes its spots. First up, Taysirik is not a Darksider. He's just really annoying. Oi! They made him say oi. Is he supposed to be British now?
Oh, I guess he needs a Cockney accent then, love.
No, I'm not giving him that accent. I'm giving him the same accent I've always given him. And we're the ones under fire, whoever you are.
Are they? She's TewiInaba, and she's wizard.
Oh!
Cringe. Oh, beer, help me.
The saber for hire? You were on Griziel. Though Elzar's never mentioned you. Gotta hurt. What's going on here? Our fearless leader picked up a distress call. Gets her Lyko in a tears every time down is mentioned. Hardly surprising as she ordered its destruction. One little mistake. I mean, is a Jedi, or even in this case, former Jedi, in any position to bitch about her destroying a planet, considering the very first thing we saw with regards to the High Republic Jedi, in the entirety of the High Republic comic book series, is that they are willing to put planets in danger just to test their Padawans.
Yeah. Agents of Chaos and all that. Certainly, you can spare a planet, can't you?
Paul Schlock, what you mean black and white? Or it says the return of why do we have to bring Moonspeak into shitty Star Wars? Holy Thunder King says, wait a minute, these comics are made by Dark Horse Comics, who also made the Mass Effect Genesis comics. No wonder both look kitties. Oh, that is cursed.
Oh, no.
This is a Dark Horse Comics series. No. This one actually looks a little better than most things that I have seen. And I suspect it is very much because... I'm convinced it's because the line work is detailed enough that it's allowing the color artist to actually be able to do the job correctly. The one thing I can say positive about this comic so far is that it at least looks nice.
Yeah, and I mean, I haven't had to complain about the art, which is it is a nice change of pace, I will say. Though the writing is still questionable. I mean, Kevin Scott, come on.
Yes, but at least the artwork is good. I will give them that so far. Watch this. Yes. Watch it take a turn the very next page or something. Believe it or not, we came here to help.
Oh, looking for Survivor then.
Looking for Nihil scum. They've done enough damage around here. I mean, at least the comic is calling her out too on this. Says their former commander.
It's like, came here to help. I don't believe you. But alright, sure. Oh, Mrs. Lorna has received a full pardon for her crimes. Unlike these miscreants, they started firing the moment they set foot on the ground. Mrs. Quinn was stunned immediately, poor thing.
You see here, Holy Thunder King says, I'm still not seeing anything that tells me this is the golden age of the Republic. Correct! And it's entirely the fault of the writing. Or it says, there are two things we know about Tay. One, he was corrupted by the dark side without getting corrupted. Two, he is gay and was in bed with a Jedi that knows Tay uses the dark side constantly. Correct! Also, he was a thief on Space Jerusalems. Don't forget that. So,
still, that's still a thing, man.
Let's continue. I wouldn't want to be in their shoes when she wakes up. Not that they'll last that long. Time to show the lousy gas heads what the hand of Cyprus can really do. Wait, what?
Oh, wow. An
Oh, look!
incompetent mate.
His special tool that he was using to cheese the entire fight has been taken away from him. Oh no! The Infinity Gauntlet.
Well, we get to have an incompetent male because of these fucking writers.
No! The one thing that made me actually slightly effective in a fight.
It's like you would be... Like, if this was any respectable character, you would think you would be like, darn. Right, guess I'll have to go to plan B or something like that.
The hand can't be destroyed. It just can't.
Oh, boo-hoo. Pick up a blaster, why don't you? Toy, the vines. Is this drink it? Wait a minute.
Don't tell me there.
As in, that is saying here. It's basically, well, it's used nowadays as in for boys, but it's like drink it. Okay. So okay, well, whatever.
I don't think so. The Dringir tap into the dark side of the Force. This is something else. You're telling me? Who said that?
Oh, Mistress Lorna. They're not heel scum. They're seizing fire.
But that's just it. Alright, actually, you know what? How about you voice these two characters?
Okay, sure. But that's just it, droid. We're not in a hill. You are. I'm a blaster.
Nice try, Blue. We saw your ship on the surface. I don't know how you're doing this, but Dalna is under my protection. And you're not welcome. Lorna, no! Oh, you're going to regret that! I mean,
Catfight.
Yeah, she could have blocked it or deflected it somewhere else instead of, cutting the whole thing off. Could have been useful, but with all these plant things around. Just saying. Laughing Cavalier says, my precious power ring, gone forever! Holy Thunder King says Dringir is Icelandic for boys. I don't approve of my mother tongue being used for this perfect purpose.
Hey, got another Icelander here. Awesome. Nice. All right.
Isn't that what this is about? Why you're here? Regret for Dalna, for your part in Dalna's devastation. Wham! We don't have to do this, Lorna. We don't have to fight, as I pummel you in the face with my lightsaber's pummel.
And she gets entwined by wines in a very Japanese way.
Alright, you want to voice this character or should I?
No, you don't. It has to stop. All of this. Friggin' poison ivy here, I guess.
Now there's something I haven't seen for a long time. A Lonto plant mage.
I can't breathe.
Villa, this isn't the way. I can't stand it. The shooting, the yelling from all of you. It's always the same, Dreos. Everywhere we go, everywhere we hide.
Is that what we were doing here, Villa? Hiding?
I escaped from a war camp. Stole a ship, headed here, where no one would find us, or so we thought. Until we crashed into some kind of droid. Really? Wait, that's it? That's all it took for a star cruiser to fall down. A droid.
Yep. A collision where the droid isn't even pulverized from it.
Of course, of course. Nihil engineering. The worst in all the world. And then they arrived. And you started firing, Dre. You know who that is, don't you? It's Lorna D. I was scared. So scared. Dreos? Dre, wake up.
This is what happens, Villa. People hurt us and we get scared. We lash out, even when we don't mean to. We hurt each other. People we love.
You know, the Germans really didn't mean to put those people in camps. You know what I mean?
Oh no!
All those worker gulags, they were just meant for entertainment purposes.
Oh no!
It wasn't. It was for a mission of love. Don't you know?
This writing is cringe.
Mm-hmm. No, you don't know what they're talking about.
I do, Villa. More than you know. Wrestle, thump.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. I'll release them all, see? Please, don't hurt me.
Hurt you? No one is going to hurt you, Villa. There's been enough pain. Now it's time to heal. Are you freaking serious? That's all it took to settle this whole situation down.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah, they couldn't even figure that shit out.
Republic Lung Bingios, Stromwall Defense Fleet. Oh, that's Elzar Man. You want to voice him?
Yeah, sure. Archivist Orbalin has located the girl's father in a Republic rehabilitation unit on Coruscant. He was abducted by the Nihil Ministry of Advancement while training Vila to use her abilities. They're going to be reunited. A happy ending for this family, at least.
Until you realize that this brand of Force users no longer exists by the time of the Republic.
Yep.
Well, by the time of the Galactic Civil War and the prequels, so, you know. The Jedi probably had a say in that.
It was a diplomatic mission, okay? People had to lose their lives. Wait. Oh, man.
What about Dreos and the other survivors?
On the way to the refugee camp on Minoth, courtesy of Lorna D and her Tempest Breakaway. Lorna D and her Tempest Breakers are going to a refugee camp.
Well, no, she's sending other people to a refugee camp.
Oh, sorry, sending others. But I mean, knowing Lorna D, is it too much to ask just one guy to go along inside her?
That woman is not what I expected.
I remember the same being said about a certain Saber for Hire, now a vital part of the team. Unless you're planning to sip off in that ship of yours.
I'm here, aren't I, Elzar? That particular die appears to be cast. But what about the X that started all this all? This is how damaged a droid is that has crashed into a star cruiser solidly enough to knock it out of orbit and cause it to crash into a planet's surface.
A light breeze would have broken that droid up more. Its data have been analyzed alongside the other courier droids that made it home. According to the droid you recovered on Dalna, there are currently 2 main flashpoints within the occlusion zone, Eriadu and Naboo. Chancellor So has decided on a plan. We're gonna bomb the shit out of Eriadu? Freaking go! Let's go! Let's do it!
A plan that cannot wait.
Ah, Ty, I don't believe you've met our Marshal of the Fleet.
Jedi Master sorry, my bad.
That happens. Jedi Master Keeve Trennis and her advisor, Master Scare.
He has been on the council and a master far longer than she has. He was a master when she was a Padawan.
Mm-hmm.
How the fuck is she the one in charge of the fleet and he the advisor?
Because, I don't know, the classical, you can't have a woman not be in charge nowadays, or something.
Well, there's that. You could argue maybe it's because he's not that sound of mind anymore. But if that were the case, then why is he the advisor?
Good question.
Let's skip the titles, Elzar. Now that we know what's happening in the zone, we need to take the fight to the Nihil once and for all. That storm wall is coming down. The beginning of the end. Please let it actually be the end. Fortunately, there are no comments to add to this comic, because no one is reading these.
No.
So...
apparently the only comment, and I could only find one in the actual place where you pick the issues, is just one saying thanks. I don't know why. Thanks for what? I mean, this comic looks nice, but that's kind of all it is.
That's the one thing that I can say positively about the comic. The artwork is actually good. Legitimately good. It is a tragedy that this artwork had to be used for this.
I mean, let's summarize what happened. You have 2 Jedis, well, one former Jedi. They hit a place where they crashed freaking Nihil supercruiser or star cruiser that was taken down with less effort than one would throw a rock at a car. And they find a Force user who is going to be reunited. Only since we know that these kinds of Force users are pretty much extinct at this point, kind of a moot point, and we get reunited with freaking Trennis.
Yep, and Skier. So, yeah, the actual writing is a train wreck. The artwork is legitimately good, though. For what
I will say, yeah. At least it was kind of a visual wonder. At least it's not a pain in that department.
I'm trying to find actual panels that look bad, and I'm struggling to find them because even with the characters further in the distance, they're given at least some detail. But the real kicker has got to be the color palette that they are using.
Oh yeah.
But I do think it really does require the line work to really kick off here, because this is the same, because the color artist has been one of the same ones we've had for a long while. But it's the line work allowing it to actually come through.
Oh yeah, putting the effort into it, and it's like it's a visual to behold. I just see, this is why it's kind of tragic. I know I don't expect anything from Kevin Scott, honestly. Could he not write at least a half decent story? Hell, even something self-contained.
Yeah, that is far too much to ask from him. This is the same dude that wrote Warhammer Adventures.
Oh, don't remind me. Oh, don't remind me.
So yeah, I don't think there's a single panel I would say is actually bad in this, in terms of the actual artwork, for what it's worth.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I will say that. At least the artwork is legitimately good.
Yep.
But the writing is not.
Yeah.
I wish I could take these images without the text. Because some of this artwork is good enough to actually, I could see someone hanging it up as a poster.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there is genuine effort here.
So I will say that. Aura says, this was actually the first High Republic comic where the art was not utter garbage. A milestone has been achieved. Yeah, this is easily the best artwork I have ever seen from the High Republic. Period.
Yep. Now, if we can get the writing up to par to that as well, now that would be quite the milestone.
Yeah. So, but that also means that this is an interesting case where placing this as a High Republic comic, ranking it in comparison to other High Republic comics, is interesting.
Hmm.
The writing is bad. Is it the worst that I have ever seen from High Republic? No. Not even close. It's...
like, I would honestly, I would recommend people to just skim away from the dialogue and just look at the artwork, honestly. So, I mean, at least nothing gave me like an art attack. Like, I would not show my art friends this. Like, they would actually be quite pleased, but also heartbroken by the shit writing. So,
if they actually provided a version of this without any of the dialogue, I would, as strange as it sounds, I would potentially say, yeah, go ahead and check it out if it's without the dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
Because at that point, you're going in there for the artwork pretty much exclusively, and the artwork absolutely holds up.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the one thing I will say about this.
So in terms of a ranking, though, like out of 1 to 10,
Holy Thunder King says, also am I delusional, or all the recent chapters I've managed to tune into feel disconnected to each other? I've seen the last 3 High Republic streams. Well, the thing is, there's a whole bunch of High Republic comic book series that are running at the same time. This is one series. You had the Wedding Spectacular. You've got Echoes of Fear, which is another series. You've got the High Republic Adventures itself, which is another series. Then you have the High Republic itself, which is another series, all running at the same time.
See, this is the one thing, like, why run at the same time? Like, why not just have one? Why not focus the effort on, like, a singular release? And then maybe, you know, it might give someone the time to, I don't know, to, redraft the stories for when the next series comes out? Like anything? But no, we get multiple series at once.
Well, there are two things I will say in response to that. First, it is of note that that the High Republic was supposed to be the biggest thing in Star Wars since the sequel films. This was supposed to be a massive push. They were supposed to be doing games, they were supposed to be doing films and TV shows, and books and comic books all at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
For what it's worth, so far what we've gotten has been a bunch of books, a bunch of comic books, and a singular TV show that has gotten rated worse than the holiday special. And a game that we don't know if it's even going to come out anymore at this point, and I don't know anything if they're making a movie or not at this stage, because, But the second thing I will bring up is all the stuff that happened back in the day in the prequel trilogy. They had a shit ton of different comics, different games, and shows and what have you, running at the exact same time, and we're able to keep the story at least somewhat coherent.
Mm-hmm.
You can have people basically. What I'm getting at is you can have people basically making sure that all the various things from a lore perspective fit and work. And they did that. They did actually do that in the prequels era, at least for the Clone Wars part, extremely well. Except for the occasional plot hole in the actual films themselves, but
yeah,
kind of the failed at the final hurdle sort of situation there. But everything else kind of really adds to it, and that's a big part of the reason why I don't actually I never really gave the prequels that hard of a time, because once you factor in the comics, the books, the games, and TV show and what have you, the prequel era does actually get pretty interesting.
Yep.
And is definitely worth getting into. Anyways, so let's go ahead. Or says, it is a massive push to get into the toilet. Holy Thunder King says, wait, does Acolyte take place during the High Republic era? That explained the lesbian witch coven. It does.
Yep.
It takes place later in the High Republic era, but it is still within the era of the High Republic. Holy Thunder King says, also, clearly Ace's suffering will never end. Oh, it's going to be ending, because the comic itself is promising the beginning of the end. Now, they have lied to us in the past, promising that one-shot comics would actually be one-shots and not the beginning of a brand new series of one-shots, but yeah. Anyways, so is this the worst comic in the High Republic series? No.
No.
It has easily the finest artwork of any of the High Republic comics. Is it as good overall as, say, The Blade, which is the best High Republic comic in my opinion? I would argue no. The plot is really what holds this one back.
Mm-hmm.
Like with most things High Republic. But at least it doesn't have the artwork holding it back too. So I'm going to say, like I said before, if they actually make a version of this without any of the dialogue at all, I would actually recommend people pick that version up. Because the artwork is legitimately that good.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to adding in the actual writing, I'm going to say this is still one of the better High Republic comics overall, even with the trash writing, because at least the trash writing isn't that trash.
It could at least at times be funny.
Not always intentionally, but This is definitely an above average High Republic comic. it's still very mediocre because of the writing, but the artwork is, like I said, the very best. That's what makes it really weird. And I don't really give out number scores for the record, so that's why I... Or it says, at least this comic didn't have the let's drive this ship by using my lightsaber on it kind of shit, but cruiser going down by bonking a probe droid bullshit. Correct! It doesn't matter how much of a death trap you made that thing. A star cruiser should not be taken down by by nudging into a probe droid. Holy Thunder King says the Wedding Fiasco, as I like to call it, is arguably the worst high on drugs Republic comic in my opinion. It's definitely up there. I kind of am going to say that the Galactic Bake Off Spectacular is still... I'm going to say the Bake Off Spectacular is worse. And I can certainly point to individual comic book issues that are worse than the Wedding Spectacular as well. And adding to that, I am going to say that Shadows of Starlight is a worse series overall. Because holy shit, all of the things that Shadows of Starlight did to butcher Star Wars is utterly unholy. But yeah, I think we are... Or it says the Galactic Bake Offs hate, Space King levels of hate. Correct. But yeah, I think I'm going to go...
Is it a crime that I haven't seen the Bake Off special that you guys did? I need to see that one.
They threw a... Okay, so they ran out into space without any protection whatsoever, and threw a Yoda species Jedi Master like he was like he was an American football.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh.
It kind of is in a ungodly way.
In a retarded kind of way. Oh, yeah. But I think, as you said, good time to call it, or?
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and call it at that point. So, yeah, this has been Ace.
This has been Nico 40K.
Thank you for being on.
Thank you for having me.
And we both hope to see you all again soon. Until then, take care. Ace out.